Hello and welcome to this edition of You Can Get There From Here. I'm Dr. Joel Moore, Chair of the Department of Communication and Digital Media Production at the University of Central Missouri, and it's my pleasure every week to get to sit down and visit with some of our alumni. I talk to those who graduated with degrees in communication studies, others who got a degree in digital media production, and some who got their master's degree. We talk about what they're doing today. We talk about how the program helped them get there. We talked about some of the things they've done or they did while they were in college, and we'll get a little bit of advice for our current and future students. Today, we're visiting with Anaiyeh Smith. Anaiyeh, how the heck are you? Great to see you.
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We're so glad that you're here today. You're up in Kansas City, right?
Yes, in good old
So,
Kansas City, snowed in for 3 days.
I was gonna say, so as we're recording this, it's a little white outside, a little slick outside. So, you staying safe?
Yes, absolutely.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear it. So Anaiyeh is a graduate of our Communication Studies program. She also took courses in digital media production. Anaiyeh, I'm curious, what brought you, kind of take us from your background, from high school to UCM. What led you here? What led you to studying communication?
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm originally from outside of Chicago. I'm from Illinois, so I wanted to choose a school that allowed me to kind of start over a little bit. So I was definitely looking into other states. Um, if I'm being honest, Missouri was never even on my radar. I had a college tour and I toured probably 15, 20 different schools, and they were all like massive schools, D1, SEC. But I knew they were beautiful, but I knew that I would be overwhelmed. So I was like, this is great,
Yeah, we hear
not
that
for
story a
me.
lot.
Yeah, so I actually found University of Central Missouri 100% online. I was doing a kind of like a work study program through a community center all through high school. And while I was working, I was researching colleges because I knew that I would need to find something that fit for me before the school year started. So I was researching extracurricular opportunities, schools that had like for example, like KMOS and like the airport, different programs that were built into the university that really immerse students in their major. So, of course, UCM has a bunch of different opportunities. They're highly ranked in a lot of different programs. So, I went to check it out. And I was also running track and field for my high school at the time. I started running track in the sixth grade, ran all through middle school, high school, and then I saw that University of Central Missouri was also highly ranked for Division II women's track and field. So I was like, okay, that's great. Like I've haven't been that deep into Missouri. The furthest I had been prior to attending college was to St. Louis, which is like a skip over the Illinois border. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know if that counts. So yeah, touring the college was my first like experience in like Missouri, like into the state. Um, and I loved it. It felt like a college campus. It was spread out, but not too much. I could walk without having like, oh, I got to drive to class, or it could rain and I'm going to run to class. I felt very comfortable. I felt like I could live on my own and be comfortable. And also the programs were just like, okay, if you don't want to major in this, this program is also amazing. And this one is also amazing. So I actually toured the college with the idea in mind that I would be a nurse. I am not interested in nursing. I don't even know why I said that. But by the time I got there, I had already changed my mind. And the program that I chose, which I ended up changing again to communication studies, all of the programs were great, but I wanted something that fit me. And every program that you selected, it was like, we are on your side. We have this lab, we have this extracurricular activity or club that you can be involved in. So I just really loved it. I went there, I ran track for 2 years. I enjoyed my time there. And then I decided to focus more on my major, and I don't regret any part of it. The athletics program is amazing. The multi-purpose building is amazing. So I was able to go there, and I feel like I kind of lived multiple lives because as an athlete, I was fully immersed in athletics, and you get to see this whole other side, the new baseball stadium at the time, how amazing our volleyball girls are. I was able to see that, and then I moved back into digital media comm studies, and then started with KMOS. Like there's so many different pockets of the university, and I just feel like I got to explore them all. And yeah, I had a great time while I was there.
Well, we are glad that you found us. We hear that a lot, that it's a small college, small campus with a big college field or college feel because of the size of the campus. It's not a, 1,000, 2,000 people. It's 10, 11,000, but it's still a smaller campus that's very close knit. So glad you found us. Glad you got to have that experience. And I've forgotten that you ran track for a couple of years. What did you run?
I did short sprints and medium distance, so 100, 200, 400.
Okay. And you did that for a couple of years and decided you were going to focus. I'm glad we had things like KMOS where you could get that experience as well. And so all of that has translated now. You are the replacement services representative for Enterprise Mobility. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I started with Enterprise, I think about 2 years after I graduated. Um, it was post-pandemic. I was looking for something that I could move up in, advance my career. Every job requires good communication skills, good teamwork skills. So I started there in like the physical location. So yes, it is Enterprise Rent a Car, but they have undergone a name change. So that's why it's under Enterprise Mobility. I started off doing what everybody else does, renting cars, writing contracts, managing a fleet. I did promote from a trainee to a management assistant to an assistant manager of a flagship, which is one of our largest branches on this side of Missouri, Lee Summit. So I worked there for about a year. I worked in Independence, literally almost every branch on this side of Missouri. And then I started my remote role 2 years ago in May. So I manage billing for insurance companies. If you are in an accident, Geico is paying for your rental. Instead of the adjuster calling the customer, hey, your car's ready, blah, 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 they call us. We let them know how much they're approved for, if there are any issues, if they need an upgrade, if they're having any issues with the vehicle, if they need us to reach out to the branch and request things on their behalf. We manage the billing, we manage the ticket, and make sure everything goes smoothly for insurance customers specifically. So that's what I do. It's all remote. And I was able to use my skills that I learned in the physical office to my remote role right now.
You're kind of that liaison then between the client and the insurance or the manufacturer, all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So those are a lot of those communication skills you built up. You talked about when I asked you to be on the podcast, you shared a testimonial with me and you said that classes like interpersonal communication and communication theory really have helped you not only in your professional realm, but also in your personal life. Talk about that a little bit. How have those been impactful for you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's in my personal life as well as professional life, but it just teaches you about networking with people. I mean, you can take it towards work. As a manager in my previous role, I had to come into the branch. Like when you get hired as an assistant, you're not promoted. Like I wasn't working at that branch already. That branch needed an assistant. I was ready to be an assistant. So I moved to a branch who needed an assistant. I didn't know the people that I was managing. So I didn't just want to come in and start telling everybody what to do. Like I personally am like not okay with that. So I felt really, kind of nervous, like, hey guys, I'm your manager. But I was able to like bond with them, like, hey, what's everybody like to do? Where's everybody from? I was able to reduce uncertainty, if you will. Get to know them, talk to them, let them know, hey, we're on the same page. If you have any questions, this is how you can reach out to me. Every morning, implement a structure, like every morning, go over what I would like to see from them. And then if I'm not seeing those things from them at the end, like, hey, this is what we went over at the beginning of the day. This is what we missed. Here, can we work on these things? So just really getting personal with people and not just coming in barking orders at people. Because I have seen it done the other way around. And I'm just like, I don't know, like not even in like a bad way. Like obviously everyone feels like they're a manager, they can manage in different ways, but it's just knowing those skills, knowing how to really relate to someone and be able to get through to them in a work setting is something that you can't put a value on. I'm just like instantly thinking, how can I connect with this person? How can I constructively tell them to, hey, let's not do that, do this. As well with my friends and my friends group, I am 90% of my friends either went to UCM or knew someone that I knew at UCM, but like either we didn't go there at the same time or they left and came back. So I'm like, we're all like kind of intertwined to UCM, which is funny, but just connecting with friends, like not even in a work setting. Like this person is going through something, they haven't reached out. Like Let's not be like, okay, let's X this person out. They're not my friend anymore. Understanding what they may be going through, that people have different lives, especially post graduation. Like everyone may not say it, but everyone's kind of feeling the same. Like, okay, I majored in this, this, and that, and now I'm doing this, and now I'm not where I wanted to be, or I feel like you're redefining yourself. You're trying to find yourself. I learned that a lot in my comm studies courses. Some of those courses, I literally felt like I took them yesterday. Like sitting in a circle with Carol Benton, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is how I grew up," and I'm like, "Oh my God, me too." I thought that was like so weird that you know this happened in my life, or that I moved and went to 5 different elementary schools. Like they're like, "Oh yeah, I did the same thing." But it wasn't because of this. It was because of that.
Yeah.
So those memories, those experience, I literally think of on a daily basis.
Can you really tell in the workplace those people who have had some communication training and some communication background and those who haven't?
Yes, absolutely. And it's so crazy. I did mention this before when I was messaging you, not to throw another alumni into the mix. I'm not sure if they want to be involved or not. But Tristan McClellan, he was I think DMP instead of
He
comm
was,
studies,
yeah.
but he was my first branch manager at Enterprise. And he was literally like my favorite. He was so cool, calm, collected, level headed. And he
That's
was
Tristan.
actually my last branch manager at Lee Summit. So I had worked there for 2 years. He branched off, went to Shawnee Mission, different other locations. I went to like 4 different locations. And right before I applied out, they're like, oh, here's your new branch manager. And it's him again.
Yeah.
And it just like, it was such a chill environment. Like he could be telling you, no, you're doing that completely wrong. And like the nicest way ever. Like we had so conflict resolution is like number one with Enterprise and knowing how to de-escalate a situation. It would be like the most hot-headed situation. And he's just like, yep, yep, okay. So I was just like, this is, just knowing the dynamic of someone who went to your university, possibly studied the same classes with the same professors. Like I was like, do
Mhm.
you know Joe? He's like, oh yeah, I love Joe. I was like, that is so hilarious. That was literally the first thing he said. He was like, do you know Joe? I was like, what on earth?
Well,
But yeah, it was
glad I
awesome.
had an impact. So,
Yes.
your manager, you're kind of in charge of things right now. What drives you? What motivates you? What's your why?
My why is definitely my own personal success and fulfillment, as well as success for my family. I have a daughter that I support, and I want to be a great example of working hard no matter what it is. Like she's witnessed me working hard in college, applying for communication jobs and this job, that job, digital media jobs, wanting to be in front of the camera and do all these things. But here I am working another job that's equally as important. And I wanted to show that regardless of if you make it to that specific benchmark that you wanted to or not, like you can still become successful. You can still move around and get to the avenue that you sought out to be. And my major, I feel like I can apply it towards any position or any role that I've had and still make an impact, still possibly teach others the information that I have learned and just be a good example. And yeah, I love what I do. It's I never thought that I would be doing this role because I'm like, I'm not in sales, I'm not in management. Like I've never saw myself being a manager. Like I'm very like cool, calm, and collected. I don't want to be the one to tell someone what to do or write them up or do anything like that. But um, a lot of my managers, they saw leadership qualities in me that I probably didn't even see in myself, and they absolutely loved it. I was promoted to flagship assistant manager, which is right under the branch manager, less than a year. I didn't even have a yearly review to throw for the spot. So on my anniversary, they wrote one and submitted it with the position. So a lot of people saw a lot of good qualities in me that I can attribute to the university and my classes and just learning how to express myself because I was incredibly shy for me to do KMOS, podcasts, YouTube channel. I've always wanted to do that, but it was never an option for me because I don't know, I just didn't think that I could. So just being where I am today, is an accomplishment, and I just want to continue to push forward, be as successful as I can be, and be happy. Of course, that's important as well.
That's great. So what's next for Anaiyeh Smith?
Wow, I'm glad you asked. Just kidding. I am currently studying to get my real estate license. I took all the courses, but I do have to take one more course again. So I was very, very close this time last year as well. But we had a family emergency and I wasn't able to complete one of my exams. So I am back on track to get my real estate license. So I'm hoping to do that in addition with beefing up my YouTube channel. I already have a YouTube channel right now. It's kind
What
of
is
more
it?
for family.
Yeah, what is it?
Um, it, it's I'm pretty sure it's just my name, Anaiyeh Smith underscore TV. Um, I created it for my family. A lot of people don't know, but while I was in college, like 90% of my electives were in Spanish because I didn't want to bounce around. Like I wanted to keep something that was consistent for me, something that I knew. And if I didn't major in what I majored in, it probably would be Spanish or something foreign language or business related. So I have a YouTube channel that kind of step by step goes over like some Spanish for beginners and traveling skills and words and phrases and things like that. So
Cool.
random, but that's another thing about me. I have been learning Spanish since the sixth grade. I would love to try and incorporate it in any aspect of my business as possible. And my family was like, hey, I went to Puerto Rico for my birthday, and then everyone was like, oh my God, you speak Spanish? You should like help us. So I started making videos. So that's just where that came from. Um, so I'd like to continue that and then use my real estate license to like show my houses, open houses, things like that. I always wanted to kind of get back in front of the camera, like walk people through homes and buying them and things like that. So real estate license, social media networking associated with that, and building my own brand, building my own platform in that aspect. And yeah, just hopefully taking off, networking with more people, getting to know the city a little bit more. So yes, I'm very close to obtaining my real estate license, and I will be beefing up all of my social media and just getting back on it.
Well, there you go. There's the versatility of that communication degree because
I
working
know
in
it's
leadership and in management with enterprise, starting real estate, got a YouTube channel going, teaching Spanish. We're gonna have to check out that page. That'd be pretty cool. So, well, good for you. And I'm so glad to hear all of that you've got going on. I'm so glad we finally gotten to reconnect after all these years. And
yes.
before I let you go, I am gonna have to ask you what advice you would have for a current UCM student studying communication, and what advice would you give to a student who is thinking about coming to UCM?
Of course. So advice that I would have for a current UCM student would be just continue to work hard. It may seem like, oh, this is my first year, this is my second year, I have X amount of years, I have X amount of semesters. Find your goal, maybe write it down, put it on a vision board, and just continue working towards it.
Yeah.
Every course matters. Every elective, even if you feel like, oh, I've fallen behind on this aspect, look at your goals every single day and just imagine once you get finished and what you would like to accomplish, because that is what's going to take you all the way, honestly. Because I started in 2014, so I was supposed to graduate a year prior to the year that I actually did. A lot of people don't know this, but I actually left UCM and transferred, like applied, enrolled, transferred to another university, the University of Alabama, but they ran out of housing before I started. So I withdrew and re-enrolled at UCM the same
Remember
semester and
that.
took all
Yeah.
online classes and was still able to move back to campus. Like I was so set that I was just going to leave. I was going to move to Alabama and just say goodbye. But UCM just made it it was like just clicking submit. Like I re-enrolled, picked up right where I left off. They were like, oh, well, you can't get into core classes right now because they're all online. I just picked the electives that I would need anyway. They were offered online, did that online. Next semester, I moved back to campus. So I don't know what made me want to switch. They were debating on if they were going to accept my credits or not, but I just knew that UCM was going to be the right choice for me. I knew that it was better to stay on track, stay consistent, and you will get there. You will finish. Just imagine that success that you want to obtain and go for it. Every single day, wake up and go for it, and you will get there. It seems like for me, I was just in college yesterday, and now I'm 30,000 years old. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it literally seems like it was yesterday. It's so crazy. I was just thinking about that the other day, but you finished, and once you're done, you'll be able to say, wow, I really like busted my butt in that algebra class, and I came out with a B plus when I was going to give up halfway through. Every course matters. Just keep going for it. Stay motivated, stay positive, find a good social group to study with, relate to, and just hold each other up, and you'll be so glad that you did.
Well, that's great advice for current and potential students. So, Anaiyeh, thank you so much for being on today. Keep us posted on the real estate. Keep us posted on the
Absolutely.
YouTube channel and how things are going with that. And we'll stay in touch. And proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You bet. And stay safe out in that cold, right?
Yes, absolutely. I will be staying put right in the house.
That's a good plan. That is a good plan. And thanks all of you for tuning in today. Remember, you can catch every episode on our YouTube channel through the UCM Media Network. That's youtube.com/UCMMN. You can also listen on Spotify. Thanks to Jake Mager for creating our theme music. Again, this is Dr. Joe Moore reminding you, you can get there from here. Have a great day.